welcome everybody to Topless Topics, a channel that seeks to destigmatize female toplessness through repeat exposure. Unless you're on a mainstream platform watching the patriarchy-approved version of this video, in which case I have demurely covered my heinous female nipples with this appropriately chaste handmaiden's cowl. If you'd like to see the patriarchy-unapproved version of this video, you will have to head over to my website, toplesstopics.org, which I can't even link to in the description or YouTube will give me a fresh strike for linking to sexually explicit nudity. Fuck everything. I am your host, Cleo, and today I want to talk about why I am so excited for what's coming up this June. Guys, I am so psyched! Do kids even say psych anymore? I don't know. I don't care. I'm psyched! Today, well, the day that I'm recording this is May the 1st, and in just 2 months, I will finally be returning to Vidcon 2023! Sorry, I said that in a weird voice. Vidcon 2023. By the way, there are VidCons that happen in other countries throughout the year, so if you want to, you can check out their website and see if there's one closer to you. If you've never heard of VidCon, it's basically the biggest and kind of only convention for online video creators. Not counting those super secret brand parties that only already famous people are invited to. I'm not jealous. Free stuff is boring. There are a few smaller ones that you can go to. The only one that I've been to was at Playlist Live over in Florida. I went there during the British invasion years, and that was an experience. Yeah, Florida. What can you say? But for the most part, if you're an online content creator or fan of an online content creator, VidCon's where it's at. I personally have been to VidCon for over half of the years it's taken place. I first heard about them in their third year in 2012 when a certain band that dresses up like robots was hired to perform there. And I attended every year after that, up until we moved to Portland at the end of 2016. Once we moved, I had a lot harder time traveling due to the whole having babies thing and that, worldwide pandemic that happened. Remember that? Yeah. Speaking of, I actually had intended to return to VidCon in 2020. I'd already rented a hotel and booked a plane and bought my VidCon ticket, but they ended up canceling it because of high COVID rates, which was a difficult but obviously necessary decision. 2021 was looking better, but then the Delta wave came and once again it got canceled. Again, a difficult but necessary decision. Still I cried. It was during those 2 years that they had to cancel the in-person VidCon that they introduced VidCon Now, basically an online version of the convention where they would record the panels, they would have little kind of get-togethers with people just messaging it didn't work very well, but I appreciate the effort. They tried to give us something on the years that they couldn't have it in person. It's also basically the only way that people who can't afford to fly to Anaheim could experience the convention, so I didn't really do anything with it, so I don't know a lot about VidCon Now, but if you did, I would love you to leave a comment and tell us about your experiences. Anyway, last year, 2022, VidCon finally happened in person and I was able to make my triumphant return. Now, VidCon has evolved a lot over the last decade. It's exploded in size from about 1,400 attendants in its first year to 50,000 last year. And with that growth, there has been a lot of growing pains, especially navigating the tightrope between enticing corporate sponsors to pay for the event, keeping famous creators and their massive fan bases happy, and not completely leaving small creators like me out in the cold, especially since there wouldn't be any VidCon if it wasn't for us old bees. How successful they've been at this endeavor depends on who you ask. There's a lot of organizational decisions that I strongly disagree with, and it would be awesome if they would reply to some of my panel suggestions one of these days. But on the whole, I would say that every year is getting slightly better. I did greatly appreciate it when they introduced the creator track in 2015, which provided a category in between community, the realm of screaming 14-year-olds desperately hoping to run into the famous creators they idolize, and industry, the track tailored to large corporations that go to events like VidCon looking to sell things to those screaming 14-year-olds. The various VidCon tracks include access to different events. Community passes basically only get you into big events like the concerts and stuff like that, the expo hall, and meet and greets where you wait in line for 4 hours for a 30-second selfie with a faceless Minecraft player or whatever it is the kids are into these days. Whereas the creator track gets you into panels that help you grow your channel panel, and as online video becomes ever more capitalism friendly, how to turn that growing fame into profit. Every now and then they'll offer a panel like how to protect your mental health and how to use your fame to be a good ally to sponsor-friendly progressive issues. But those kind of activism-focused events tend to be in the minority. And that right there is one of the fundamental problems I have with VidCon in its current iteration. Maybe have one progressive panel to every 3 How to Get Rich and Famous seminar instead of 1 in 10. Just an idea. All that aside, when I did finally return to VidCon last year, I had a fantastic time. Yeah, I went to some panels, I explored the mostly empty expo hall, but that isn't what I really enjoyed about the convention. Months before I ever attended, I made the conscious decision to make the most of it by being friendly, engaging, and unafraid to show social initiative. The whole 3-day event, I would strike up conversations with just random passerbys, people I was waiting in line at panels for, etc. We talked about what kind of content they like to make or watch, or completely unrelated conversations about cats or video games or how climate change will kill us all. And if they seemed amenable to it, sometimes I spent a few minutes talking about the kind of content I make. I am glad to say that almost as a rule, those I talked to about the concept of Topless Topics seemed to agree with it, or at least they didn't seem actively opposed to the idea of gender-equal anti-censorship. Especially in the increasingly progressive content creator world, assigning rights based on what gender you look like really doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, none of the people I talked to last year had the influence to, say, putting me in contact with a real live YouTube employee I could appeal to when haters get yet another one of my videos falsely banned. And almost none of the content creators I met were willing to actually get on camera and express support for topless equality. I don't blame them for this. I mean, I get it. Content creation is a job, and it's part of my privilege that I don't have a real job to jeopardize by putting my heinous female nipples online for the world to see, even if they're non-sexual. I am hoping that maybe this year I can meet some creators who aren't as restricted by having to stay brand friendly, maybe some queer activists or advocates for sex worker decriminalization, though it's unlikely to find someone like that at a convention oriented towards children like VidCon, but I guess I'll keep my eyes out. I doubt I could get any of them to go topless on camera with me, but if nothing else, maybe I can get some audio-only podcast episodes out of it. Speaking of, let's finally get into what my actual intent is for this video. I plan to go over the specific goals I have for VidCon 2023 and how I plan to achieve them. By the way, if you want to know more about my goals for Topless Topics in general, I have a video that I put up in January called Topless Topics 2023 New Year's Resolutions. You can watch the patriarchy unapproved version of it here. Goal number 1, expand my Rolodex. I'm kidding, I'm not actually that old. To include the contact information for at least 10 creators or creator-adjacent professionals. Despite the many years of getting slapped in the face by nonsense banned videos, I honestly do love making videos, and I love talking to people who share that passion. You don't have to be in front of the camera to be part of the creative team. Editors, writers, set designers, etc. They're all valid too. And while I have been making videos for a long time, since the first year of YouTube's existence in fact, there's plenty of stuff that I'm not an expert on, especially on the becoming financially successful side. In addition to that, I'm always looking for people to collaborate with, whether that's a progressive video essayist, or maybe a nerdcore podcaster who wants to debate with me on which was the best Zelda game, or maybe a comedic skit team that'll let me fulfill my lifelong dream of playing a background NPC. Just no cruel pranksters, please. I abhor that shit. Since I moved from San Diego to Portland, I'm no longer an easy 2-hour drive from Los Angeles, where all the successful content creators seem to end up living for some reason. So national get-togethers like VidCon are my best opportunity to forge in-person connections. However, things like video chat interviews and co-hosting on a live stream are easily done over the internet. Those months of working from home during the 2020 lockdown prove that. All I have to do is meet those creators first to pitch my ideas to later. Goal 2, find specific resources for hiring a content creation team, especially a video editor and or scriptwriter, to help me make my videos a little less messy. If you didn't know, for the entire 10 years that Topless Topics has existed, I have pretty much been the only person behind the entire thing. Planning the videos, scripting them, recording them, editing them, uploading them, making social media posts to let people know that I did upload them. All of that has been completely me. And as you'd expect, it's a lot of time and tedium doing all that on my lonesome. And as passionate as I am about making online video, I have a lot of real-life responsibilities that come first, like everything being a primary parent to 2 young kids entails, or being caretaker to my elderly dad who couldn't cook himself a healthy dinner if his life depended on it. I have actually been trying for over a year to find video editors, etc. to hire, but I haven't yet found a good place to do it. The only thing I can find is like huge corporations where it's like $10,000 per video, or barely coherent faceless profiles that don't even have a back catalog of work to prove they have the skills they're advertising. The best way for finding creative team members to hire seems to be word of mouth. But all the creators I've reached out to ask for recommendations say that they still do most of the work themselves, even a creator as big as PhilosophyTube. In an ideal world, I'd have the time and resources to make my videos a lot quicker, cleaner, and engaging to watch. Video essayists like ContraPoints and PhilosophyTube and Jacob Geller are pretty much my main inspiration. But until I can find a way to afford some team members to help spread the workload, I don't really know how to make that happen. I mean, I'm actually working really hard on the video you're watching right now, and I hope I'm jumping through enough patriarchal hoops to not get it banned on websites like YouTube. But realistically, I just don't have the spoons to put that much effort into every video I make. But who knows? If I can find some people to hire, that would make it a lot easier for me. I could focus on the creative aspect of it. I could, come up with the ideas, maybe do some research, stuff like that, and then hand the reins to someone else to do all the bullcrappy side of it, the editing and the uploading and the social media posts and stuff. That would be my dream, being able to do the fun parts and hire someone else to do all the rest. Regarding this year's VidCon, I already looked at their scheduling agenda, which you can see for yourself on their website, and it seems like at least a few of the panels are focused on how to hire a production and/or management team, even if you're not already famous. I'm going to go to those events and I'm going to ask pointed questions like, what specific websites can I go to find people to hire? Like actual URL. Please help me, please. Goal number 3, get my shit ready before the last day. Translation, get all my stuff ready ahead of time, like signage and recording equipment and t-shirts like this one. I don't know if you can read it on camera. It says don't be a twit. They're just tits. And there's little pictures of birdies. While I don't get the opportunity to travel too often, when I do, I am a habitual overpacker. And yet most of what I haul with me, I rarely use. For instance, last year, I brought a heavy-ass pair of platform sandals. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I brought them. I don't know. That's why this year I'm making a list. Checking it twice, slap my face if I don't follow my own advice. Essentials only, and a solid plan for how I'm actually going to use every item in that bag. For signage, I mean stuff like this. Whenever I have some downtime, I plan to find a shady spot outside the convention center, sufficiently hidden from the security guards so they don't kick me out for sexual solicitation or some shit. Set the sign up along with my camera, and see if I can get some random passersby to share their thoughts on whether it makes sense to assign different levels of censorship based on what gender you look like. And if they participate, I'll give them a free t-shirt. Maybe I can even convince them to take a picture of themselves wearing it for me to post on my own socials. But that means a lot of prep time. For instance, the t-shirts take at least an hour each. In addition to actually coming up with the design, I have to print them out on the Cricut. I have to weed them, which means taking out the parts you don't want printed. I have to use my friend's heat press to actually attach them to the shirt. And all that doesn't even include the time and money for gathering materials. As of me recording this, I do have over a month left, but I still need to hustle. I need to hustle, or this little bit of time is going to blink by. Pass by in the blink of an eye. That's what I meant to say. Yes. Goal number 4. No, 4. Yeah, sorry. Not this. That's way too many. Just 4. Nail down my elevator pitch and don't be so afraid of adverse reactions that I don't even share it. I think I was actually pretty good about this last year, but every convention is a chance to improve. And given the immediate misconceptions that most Americans have at the word topless, I need to be practiced and careful in how I introduce newcomers to the crazy idea that maybe, just maybe, people who look female should be given the same rights as people who look male. After all, first impressions are everything, and as soon as I say the T word, most minds in the US jump to strip joints and lap dances and cam girls and, all that explicitly sexual stuff. We here at Topless Topics are entirely pro-sex worker, but we do not support the current American culture standard that says all female nipples are at all times and in all situations sexually explicit nudity. Unfortunately, as things are right now, topless equality activists like me are between a dildo and a hard place. The only places I can post my videos are on websites that allow explicit sexual material. Therefore, the people who stumble onto my videos are on those sites looking for porn. Therefore, they are extremely unlikely to honor my intent of representing female nipples non-sexually. The only way I can actually start deprogramming American minds from seeing female nipples as sexually explicit nudity is if I can find a platform to post my uncensored videos that isn't intended explicitly for porn. Yeah. I have a someday maybe plan to set up my own video hosting server where I'll never have to be at the whim of arbitrary bans ever again. But a video hosting server costs money, and I need to already be famous to entice sponsors to give me that money, and you see where I'm going with this. So for now, leading up to VidCon, I'm going to work on my 10-second elevator pitch. When I'm explaining the concept of my content to a new person, I'll lead with something innocuous like, do you believe all genders should have the same rights? Then, assuming they say yes, hit them with the 1-2 punch of, do you believe that should extend to online censorship, aka free the nipple? All I can hope is that if I get them to look at it from the gender equality side of the argument first, it'll give them pause before defaulting to American puritanical standards of, yes, female nipples are unequivocally sexual and profane, but male nipples, of course, get to choose their own context. And finally, goal number 5. I will not hinge my enjoyment of VidCon based on whether or not I meet content creators I like, or creators at all. That was an accent just all over the place. I don't know what that was. It's no secret that everyone wants to meet their idols, even bitter old crones like me. It's especially awesome when those idols turn out to be decent people, in spite of being famous. However, seeing a famous creator at a place like VidCon isn't the same as, like, running into them at a grocery store. I mean, not, literally running into. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Happening to end up in their physical presence in a public setting. You're likely to be one of hundreds, if not thousands of other people within a half mile that all want to meet that same person. And it's in the interest of their mental health as well as physical safety not to have every adoring fan converge on them all at once. Luckily, I don't even know who the majority of VidCon's featured creators are anymore. I am way too old for the current targeted demographic, and I totally accept that. As for oldie creators, they don't really attend things like VidCon anymore unless they're specifically paid to. I can't blame them, it's not a wise cost-benefit decision. Why waste time at a convention where no one's gonna recognize you versus shilling unethical beauty products on Facebook Live? Or maybe they're just an exhausted elder millennial like me who no longer has the energy to deal with screaming kids that aren't even your own. All that being said, just the same as last year, but even more so now, I'm not going to waste my time structuring my schedule around trying to casually run into famous creators. If we end up in line together at Starbucks or something, sure, I'll see if they're pleasant to talk to. But otherwise, I'm going to VidCon to learn, to network with other small creators, and to revel in the shared passion of the whole content creation endeavor. Never forget that fame is a human construct that means nothing in the evolutionary scale of things. No matter how many followers you have on TikTok, or how many major sponsors are in your DMs trying to strike a deal. We all poop, we all have mental health crises, and every single person in existence has something worthwhile to share, regardless of whether our capitalistic institutions value your input or not. While I do genuinely love talking about the creative process, there are a million other things I'm interested in and happy to discuss. And honestly, those are the most entertaining conversations when I do happen to start chatting with a famous person. It's a nice break from the grind when we ignore that whole famous, not famous thing, and just laugh about the latest failed Elon Musk rocket launch or whatever. Okay, that was a long video. I actually did try to eliminate some of the unnecessary rambling this time, but this was about the most I could bear to cut it down. Hopefully at VidCon I'll meet a scriptwriter to hire, who can figure out how to crush my myriad musings into 5 minutes or less. Yeah, that's happening. Thank you so much for watching, and please, I vomit in my mouth every time I say this, but it's necessary to trick the algorithms into showing my content to new people. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends. I feel more gross saying it than you feel hearing it. Trust me. And if you want to be an active member in the Topless Topics community, I invite you to join our Discord server. You can find a link to it over at toplesstopics.org/chat. We just ask that you please don't be a creep or an asshole. Also, if you would like to buy a Topless Topics branded t-shirt, I have a form at the link below where you can look at the different styles and colors and phrases you can get. And finally, what do you think about VidCon? Have you been in the past? Are you gonna go this year? Do you want to go? What do you hope to get out of it if you do? If you see me around and you want to say hi, please don't hesitate. I promise I don't bite unless you want me to. And it's hugely validating the couple of times I have run into people in real life who said that my content helped them. If you see me at VidCon and you'd like a free t-shirt, say this secret passcode to me. Fuck the patriarchy. That's it for now. Bye! Do 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 do. Do 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 do.